Hi guys, John T. Hickman here. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you 5 simple points to really simplify the process of allowing. I always try to make these videos as simple and clear as possible so that you can actually understand what's going on in your mind and body, and more importantly, how to move forward with it. So in today's 5 points, I'm going to break down what we're actually trying to do when we practice allowing, because this is the foundational skill behind healing all chronic symptoms. I've done another video on what allowing actually is, so if you haven't watched it, please head over to my channel and watch it. But to keep it really simple here, allowing just means placing your attention on what's happening inside your body and staying with it. Not trying to change it, not trying to fix it, just noticing what's there and what happens when you give it your attention. Sometimes sensations will get stronger. Sometimes they're going to stay the same. Sometimes nothing happens at all, and all of that is part of the process. We do allowing through mindfulness meditation. That's how we practice allowing. It's something that we aim to do daily, and at first it's going to feel quite strange and even difficult to build the habit because it goes against everything we've been taught about fixing or changing how we feel or making ourselves feel more comfortable. But this is how we heal chronic symptoms. So with that in mind, let's get into the 5 points. The first one that you need to understand is that there are different stages to allowing. This is a skill. And just like anything else, you're not supposed to be good at this skill straight away. In the early stages of allowing, it's going to feel very counterintuitive. You're going to feel doubt, confusion, restlessness, and very often you'll feel like you're doing it wrong. This is not a sign that something is off. It's actually a sign that you've started learning the skill. You've most likely spent your whole life trying to fix, change, or move away from discomfort, and now you're learning to do the opposite with allowing. You're choosing to stay with what's there. Of course, that's going to feel strange. And it's important to say that you can't really mess this allowing thing up. Even if you feel like you're doing it badly, you're still practicing the skill of allowing. There's going to be moments within this process where things can intensify. You may notice that your symptoms are going to get stronger, or your emotions are going to become more intense with the allowing approach. In this mind-body approach, in this allowing approach, people often call this an extinction burst or a healing crisis, where things feel like they're going to get worse before they get better. Sometimes you might need to take a step back for a couple of days, especially early on, just to integrate what's coming up, and that's completely fine. The key here in this first step is to understand what stage you're in and not to panic because of it. And if you feel really stuck in that early stage, that's where having a mentor or some form of support can make a big difference. Even if you've been doing this allowing work for a while, you may still be in and out of stages of doubt or struggle or needing to step back for a bit sometimes. Depending on what emotions need to be processed, you may find you're making progress at one moment and then feel back towards square one another moment. So stages of allowing can feel more natural the more that we do it. However, we may still be in and out of difficulty with it. So we're learning a new skill, and to help us with the ups and downs of life, the more you learn to allow, the more it will feel approachable and effective. But life is not a straight line. Sometimes you'll be going through a big shift in your life and suddenly allowing will feel difficult again, which is, again, why having ongoing mentors and communities can really help. So that's number one, different stages of allowing. The second thing is that consistency is more important than intensity. A lot of people come into this work because they've understood that emotions have been repressed and they think they now need to feel something big in order for them to heal. So they're looking for a big emotional release or a breakthrough or some kind of big emotional moment. And when that doesn't happen, they assume it's not working. When that doesn't happen when they're allowing. But the reality is that most of this work is actually very normal and even boring. You're going to sit in your meditations and feel the same sensations, the same symptoms, the same thoughts, same emotions, and nothing dramatic is going to happen. That's the work. You're teaching your mind and body that you can be with what's already there. You don't need to excavate. If it feels like nothing is happening, that doesn't mean it isn't working. Very often, that is the moment the work is actually happening. If it feels boring, you're probably doing it right. Sometimes you'll feel big emotions, and sometimes you won't. Both are completely fine. If you keep chasing intensity, you end up resisting the exact state of being that you need to be in this moment. So instead of focusing on how deep or powerful your sessions feel, your allowing sessions feel, focus on showing up consistently. The third thing is that allowing happens through the body. It's not something that you can think your way through. So when something arises, whether that's a symptom, an emotion, or even just a stream of thoughts, you keep bringing your attention back to the body. You notice what's actually being felt in the body in that moment. And this doesn't have to be clear or neat. It can feel vague, numb, messy, or hard to describe. It can feel like you're feeling nothing in the body. That still counts. A lot of people think they're doing it wrong if they can't clearly identify an emotion or a sensation, but that's not the point. You don't need to fully understand what's happening for this to work. This is something you experience. It's not something that you figure out. It's meant to be messy and uncomfortable and out of control. The point is to stay connected to the physical experience as it is without trying to figure it out or change it, just staying with it. The fourth thing is that you have to stop trying to fix the experience. This is probably one of the biggest shifts in the whole process. When something uncomfortable shows up, your instinct is going to be to relax it, breathe it away, or change it in some way. In allowing, we're doing the opposite. For that period of time while you're allowing every day, whether it's 10 or 20 minutes, you decide that you're not going to fix anything. You're just going to be with it. And if there's fear, you let the fear be there. If there's frustration, you let that be there. If your symptoms get stronger in your body, you allow that as well. And what you'll start to notice is there are parts of you that don't like that that's happening. Parts that are afraid that things are getting bigger or nothing's happening. Parts that are irritated. Parts that want things to be different. And instead of trying to resolve those parts, you let those parts of you be there as well. It's important to notice here, if you're allowing in order to get rid of your symptoms, you're still trying to change the experience. So it's very normal to do that, but this is where the real shift happens. We're not doing this to get rid of anything. We're doing this to change our relationship to what's here in the body. Very often in allowing, or in general, the symptom arising for you isn't the problem. It's actually drawing your attention to emotions that your system wants you to feel. What you're feeling isn't dangerous, even if it feels intense. So instead of moving away from the experience, the migraines or the pain in the body, you move towards it with the allowing. The fifth thing is understanding that you can feel everything without acting it out. This is a big fear for people. They think that if they begin to learn how to allow fear and anger or shame, it's going to spill over into their everyday life and they're going to lose control. This is not what happens. Allowing is a contained space where you give your mind and body permission to feel whatever is there without needing to act on it. You can allow fear without actually needing to act on the fear. You can feel intense fear in your body and still go about your day in a grounded and intentional way. You don't need to rationalize your way out of the feeling or convince yourself that it shouldn't be there. You just let it exist. And over time, with doing more allowing, you're going to teach your system that these emotions are safe to experience. So if I had to simplify allowing in one sentence, it would be this: stop trying to change your experience and learn how to be with it. It sounds really simple, but it's not easy and it takes practice. Healing chronic pain is not about getting immediate relief. It's about learning a new skill. And if you're in the stage where it still feels confusing, or like you're doing it wrong, or you're thinking, what the hell am I even doing? Just know that that's a normal part of the learning process. It happens when we learn any skill, and it's the same with allowing. So it's why I set up my community in the first place, to help people who are in these stages just speak about what's coming up for them, and we can help support and guide them through. Those are the 5 points to really simplify this. I hope this video has helped to simplify this. Consistency is more important than intensity. A lot of your allowing practices are going to feel kind of boring and mundane. You learn in the allowing process that symptoms are there purposely, not for you to fix them or to relax them, but for you to go towards them. Notice how you're feeling towards them, fear or frustration, and let yourself feel those emotions. Just because you're learning to feel these emotions, it doesn't mean that they're going to bleed over into your everyday life. That's why we do allowing in things like mindfulness, meditation, and in things like therapy, because these are called safe spaces. These are spaces where you can let yourself feel all the emotions you're not allowed to feel in everyday life. And you'll realize that you can very much allow yourself to feel these emotions in meditation and in therapy, and then go about your everyday life and not have to feel these emotions in the same way. Some people come to me and they say, what do I do feel these emotions in everyday life? And the more you learn how to allow, the more you're able to learn how to allow emotions in everyday moments. Like learn how to allow yourself to feel fear on the train or at work. But if it feels too overwhelming to do so, what you do is you just tell yourself, okay, emotion, right now I'm just going to push you aside. I'm not going to allow this. But later in my meditation or later in my therapy, that's when I'm going to allow it. That's when I'm going to bring it up. So in everyday life, if the emotion comes up big and you're not equipped yet to learn how to allow it and still operate normally, you can always park it and then get to your allowing later in the day. That's it for the video. As always, I'm sure I may have left a thing or two out, but I'll endeavour to keep creating more videos about this process. If there is anything you feel as if I've left out that you want me to talk about, then please say so in the comments below. If there's anything that you'd like to share or any questions that you have, please share below. I've gone through this process myself, healing pain, and helped many others do the same, so I'm very well versed on all the different stages of this. But thanks for watching. Hopefully hear from you soon.